Time to find out who is going to take the compound men's double gold medal here in Dubai at the 2022 World Archery Para Championships. A change in the format has seen the traditional teams of 3 cut down to 2. And this is a showcase of why. It opens up the competition to more nations around the globe as we see Australia versus the Islamic Republic of Iran contest the gold medal. Time to introduce the teams. Well, here we have it, Australia on target number 1 with Jonathan Milne, the Rio 2016 individual bronze medalist from the Paralympic Games, teaming up with Gary Robinson, world number 55. Iran have Ramazan Biaban, the Tokyo individual silver medalist from the Paralympic Games just a few months ago, teaming up with Hadi Nouri, a Rio Paralympian and a world champion ranked 49th in the world. Australia to get this gold medal match underway. And what a start to settle the nerves. Milne following suit with another 10. Couldn't have asked for more to start this gold medal match off.
See Iran, probably the more experienced team here. Just going to make that adjustment. Just see a little flutter of that flag on top of the target to the right. The arrow went right, but I wouldn't think it'd be enough to make that movement of the arrow there. So see this archer using that chest release, so he won't have enough power in his arm to draw the bow, and that's why he'll be allowed to use that device. Obviously he's got enough dexterity in the finger there to be able to set that release aid off with his finger. Called an 8, but I wouldn't be surprised that's marked up to a 9.
So provisional 37 as the target. Well, an interesting first end for the pair here. There's not much between them, but Nikki, you think there's going to be a measure here potentially?
Yeah, I think that last arrow for Australia, to me it looked like very close to that the line of the 9, so judges just now having a look from both sides with a magnifying glass. So the rule is if they can't tell it's out, it's got to be in. So if he can't see red, then if it's hitting that black line it's marked up. He pointed up in the air. I wonder if that meant he called it up. We'll find out soon.
So originally marked with a 37 on the scoreboard in venue, it's already gone up to a 38, a 10, 10, 10, 8, which is exactly what you called, Nikki. So Australia with the mini advantage. Iran just having their targets checked here. Now, you talked about the Australian using a chest device to draw the bow. Let's talk a little bit more about what is and isn't allowed, because he's using that left hand to release the arrow.
Yeah, so, adaptive devices are there to give a level playing field. They're not there to improve performance, so that archer will only be allowed that because he doesn't have the power in his arm to draw the bow. So, for whatever reason, there could be many, he hasn't got that power in that arm, but he has got the dexterity to use the fingers to set it off. So we see some archers with nothing in that arm. They use that harness and then perhaps use their mouth to set their bow off, but in this case he's got that dexterity to use the finger to set the release aid off in a more normal way.
And there you go, you spotted the finger going up there. It's a new process being employed at these championships for the first time. The target judge will point up on a measure to indicate the higher score and point down. Guess what? That's for the lower score. Second end of this gold medal match between Australia and Iran. Australia leading by 2, so Iran will shoot first in this second end. Ramazan Biaban, the individual Tokyo Paralympic silver medalist, is the world number 7. 42 years young, just going a little high again.
So he's just putting his finger around that lever on that release aid. I think that's quite a hard thing to do, because if you are using your whole arm, you can just expand your whole arm, and we've talked a lot about conscious and subconscious releases, and when you can expand as global movement, that becomes quite subconscious quite easily, but he's just using his finger, and I think that's harder. I think for him to then have to make a conscious release, but he's shooting it so well.
Solid finish from Iran. 7 dropped by Milne for the second hour for Australia. Robinson calling out the yep. That's into the 10. Over to you, teammate. And a recovery there for a 76 and a 4-point lead. Extending the lead by 1. Australia looking very solid here. Nikki, any reason why that second arrow, that first one from Jonathan Milne in that end, dropped into the 7? Was there anything noticeable there?
Not particularly. Potentially it's gone a little bit low right, so potentially a little bit of a collapse perhaps. So if the archer isn't maintaining their normal pressures, that balance front and back of the shot, maybe it just came forward. So something to look out for there. Conditions still looking pretty good, aren't they? I don't think anything there will be affecting him.
And how much is stamina an issue for the para archers? Does it affect them more than the non-disabled counterparts?
Yeah, it certainly can do. I mean, these guys have been out here for a week already. Some have done a warm-up tournament before this, the week before that, so it's a long time to be out here. Obviously under the pressure as well, that's even more stressful, even more tiring, so it can be a factor.
Australia leading Iran 76-72 here in the gold medal match for the compound men's doubles. Iran will shoot first with Ramazan Beerban.
So consistent from him all the way through this match so far. So his thumbs off, he looks like he's shooting a hinge. So just pushing and pulling through that shot. Yeah, his 2 errors have been to the right, haven't they? So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a little bit of coming off the front arm. Usually on the right-handed archer pushes them to the right.
Gary Robinson confirming it's another 10, and we could have our first perfect here. Ooh, now, did that get released in time? And if it did, where did it go? Well, there's a bit of mystery going on the field. You can see that there's one arrow missing from the Australian target, and there was a little bit of confusion there by Jonathan Milne. Well, we look on. I mean, there are 3 arrows in the target for Australia. They get 30 in that round. It puts them on 106, but it looks like they are effectively going to have a miss called for them here. Looked like he got the arrow off just before the countdown clock buzzed, but I think maybe because he was under so much time pressure that the arrow, he didn't get a chance to get his aim right. There is a discussion going on between coach and official and athlete. It is marked down officially as a miss on the scoreboard. Well, it is a little bit of drama here. A miss for Australia when they were leading by 4 sees them trailing by 4 going into the 4th and final end here. This is for the gold in the compound men's doubles. Islamic Republic of Iran leading by 4. So Australia have to sort themselves out here, forget about that and move on and try and put a little bit of pressure on their opponents. Gary Robinson, the 48-year-old, has been hitting the 10s consistently. Can he do it again here? solid stuff there as we hear the call to prayer here inside the venue. Australia looking for a miracle.
Yeah, anything that's happened, you know, you just need to put that behind you. As both teams are, they're on the shooting line right now. Shoot your normal shot. But look at this gap opening up. If Australia can just keep these two arrows in that 10 ring as well, they're going to have the best chance of being able to level this match.
Well, that one has dropped away. Target of 143 set. So up into the 9 for a 136. 7 here. Will draw them level. Anything better and it's gold for Iran. Couldn't ask for this one to be closer right the way through. They've done it, but only just by 1. And Iran have taken gold here. Ramazan Biaban and Hadi Nori with gold in the compound men's doubles to Australia's Jonathan Milne and Gary Robinson, who will have to settle for the silver medal. Brilliant stuff from Iran. They capitalized on an opportunity that presented itself to them. It's an interesting end. We're told now that in the first rotation of that third end, Milne didn't raise his arm to show the end of shooting, so the time didn't switch over to Iran. They lost a bag of time, and that's why Australia ran out in the third end. So all above board, Iran were 4 behind. That mistake put them 4 up, and they've capitalized in the end. Now, one of the arrows being marked down on target number 2. Is that going to come into play here? All of a sudden it's got tense again here. All of a sudden it's got very tense indeed. Now, has one been marked up from Australia and one marked down from Iran? Oh, very, very tense. Well, there we have it. I think the celebration tells its own story here. A mini error from Australia, and Jonathan Milne opened the door for Iran, and they have capitalized and taken the gold. They are the world champions of 2022. And Nikki, you couldn't ask for more drama here.
There was a lot of drama there. I think, you know, that is a lesson to anyone in para team archery. You know, that visual, that audio signal has got to be loud enough, and it's obviously made a big impact on this match right here. But, you know, great scenes. I think swapping badges there between teams, and, you know, these teams are, you know, travel the world together, and it's all good friends afterwards, and great to see Iran taking the gold.